good way to start. So let's look at this as if this is a letter from, from a lady to her significant other, and that can be spouse. It's in a real committed relationship. And she says, we're alone, kissing faces, a gentle touch, exotic places. No word is said, you read my mind, a moonlight stroll stuck in time. All visions of you, when merging into me, I see. In the sands of time, standing in place, when we meet, a sacred space. Heart and mind meet face to face, like hand and glove, so much more than physical. With this ring, it's spiritual, the never-ending story that we dream of when we make love. Tears of years gone, no traces. Best of friends, no to strangers. Eye to eye, pure fantasy. As we meet, true ecstasy. Our visions of you were merging into me. It's only in your arms I feel like dying, to sleep eternally. In your arms, I'm born again. With every breath until there's nothing left, the God in you makes me whole when we make love. What are your first thoughts about that? What does that provoke to you?
I would have to say, if I can start it off, that to me is mature love. And I don't necessarily see bodies entangled and pure sex out of that. I see maturity and respect and that comfort, which as a female, we need to feel comfortable. We need to feel an element of protection before we can open up to intimacy.
Okay. It's funny, I heard comfort, protection. Anybody else?
I concur. But I concur, and I will expand. This is, especially for a married couple, this is pretty much the dream. This is the kind of intimate relationship that makes marriage so appealing to so many people. It's why they believe that sex in marriage is so special, it's so unique, it's so it's elevated. It's beyond the animal, it's beyond the primal, it's elevated to a level of the spiritual that just can't be duplicated in casual sex or anything less than what's happening in this song. This song represents the dream. It doesn't represent what's necessarily going on, but it represents the goal. It represents what they're going after, or maybe even what they had before they got married that sometimes doesn't last or carry over into the marriage.
That's heavy.
Yeah, it's what they're going for. It's the goal. It is the standard that they're going after.
Tony, what about you?
When I was listening to it, it sounds like a poem, of course, you know what I'm saying? And I think the last part of what Eden was saying, in terms of the goal, expressing what she sees, or vision of what she sees. And I would like to say, wanting to move in the direction of that vision and expressing this to the person so that they can come closer to where she is, because for me, I look at, both of the young ladies mentioned marriage, and sex, which nothing sexual came to mind when I was listening to that, you know what I'm saying? Like zero, like I wouldn't, like the only reason I'm saying something about sex as a response now is because I'm actually saying something about their response. Like I didn't see anything sexual there. It was just kind of this romantic vision of where we would like to be, or where I see myself being with another person, or with the other person that she's expressing this to. It's just that's it pretty much. I don't want to overdo it.
Gotcha. Is there a difference? And that's an outstanding perception. Is there a difference between sex and making love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking more of an F word, but between sex and F word.
Yeah.
But even, I know the standard making love period is a sexual act, but
Yes.
is there a difference? What is the difference between the two?
Oh, I think sex is simply carnal. I think making love is energy, spirit. It's a combination of those two things that may be expressed on the physical level. You know, but if you're talking about sex, it's purely physical. You know, it's not anything. It's like you can have sex with anything, much less anybody.
Right.
But you can't. But making a connection that is more energy and more spirit, as you manifest this or express it rather on the physical level, is more like making love. You know, there's a different intent. There's a different, not just a different feeling. In fact, when you ask the question, you know, I don't even think they belong in the same, even in the same question. I mean, sex is so primal, it's so physical, it's so over there. Making love is definitely more so about what you give mind, body, and soul, and you express it in a physical way. You know, that's it.
Gotcha.
I couldn't agree more with Antonio, because absolutely. And you know, the one thing that comes to mind after everything that he just said was that I've experienced relationships where you do cross that line, you have sex, but then eventually it grows. And I've been asked, can we make love? And so there is definitely a line there between the two where I totally agree. It's the difference between the carnal act that really doesn't have a lot of feeling there, and that soul connection of we're doing something spiritually together.
And I believe you could be in love with someone and have sex with them. You know, it's not like it has
that was going to my next question. I was going to ask you, can you, because I think a lot of times one thing that seems to kind of get lost with commitment is a lot of people talk about losing that spark, is that the whole sexual, even the whole just carnal aspect of the physicality of sex gets lost underneath the date nights and the all the other romantic aspects of things or whatever. So that's why I was like, okay, cool. Can you have both? Can you have a sex night in your relationship with the person you love?
Yeah, I mean, balance is key. You know, it's not, you know, I mean, because, you know, you can be so spiritual where you can get lost. You can be so woke where you really be asleep. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there has to be some balance. So sex is definitely, to me, a necessity. However, when you are imbalanced and that's all you have, then, you know, you're definitely going to lose the connection with the person. You know, even if you have a body connection, just a physical connection, everything that physical dies. You know what I'm saying? If your connection with that person is purely physical, it's going to have a time limit. But if it's spiritual and it's energy, then there is no time involved. It's simply forever. You follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about you, Eden? You got something on that?
Absolutely. In the best of situations, you absolutely have both in the same relationship. And they're not necessarily 50-50.
Right.
You know,
Just
you're not
balance,
making
right.
love half the time or having sex the other half of the time. But the important thing is that you match and meet each other's needs whenever they arise. So whatever that percentage works out to, as long as it's mutually beneficial to the couple, then it's great. But there are definitely going to be times when you may not have time, or you may not even want the romance and the flowers and all of that. You may just want the primal, the heat, the instinct, the moment. You may just want that. Right. And if you can have that with somebody that you actually are connected to, committed to, in love with, someone that you trust, someone that you have a more significant connection with, then it's even more fun to explore that aspect than it is to try to get there with a stranger who you don't know any of that about, but all you know is that you like their body, and that body is going to disappear shortly after you roll out of the wet spot. Like, it's a lot more fun and
I'm
it's
sorry.
it's more.
That was just so graphic. Gotcha.
Sorry. I'll turn it back down. But
No,
that's what happens.
don't turn it down.
That's how
We
it
getting
happens.
warmed up. That's good.
I
That's
mean,
real good.
That's how it
and
happens.
Go ahead, Tony.
It really is.
no, I mean, you know, it's just like she was saying, it's not 50-50. I mean, the issue is not equality, it's balance.
Mhm.
Right.
You know, it's, we don't have to be equal, but we have to be
Right.
balanced, you know. And so, you know, if I am purely into your body, or purely into, not into your body, but purely into this side, it's like something, we're not going to be able to have that cohesion that we need. You know what I'm saying? Both things are necessary. And, you know, the spiritual, and something that Eden just said, basically having that spiritual or that mental connection allows you to be uninhibited physically.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is that trust that she was talking about. So, yeah.
Sense of time in place when we meet.